Today, as part of hackproject.org's introduction to Raspberry Pi, we're going to look at the basic structure of a Raspberry Pi based on a general purpose computer. So if we do remember from our simple lessons that a general purpose computer consists of an input device, some sort of input devices, processing unit, output devices, and memory units. So memory units can be in multiple different levels. So you could have the cache, you could have the main memory, which is the RAM, and then you could have other storage devices including hard disks, CD-ROM drives, DVD drives, so on and so forth. So taking the same analogy to a Raspberry Pi, you will see that the Raspberry Pi has USB ports to which you can connect your inputs and outputs. In this, we can connect our keyboards, we can connect our mouse, whatever we feel like, including our monitor, using the USB interface. We can also connect an Ethernet port. There is an Ethernet port, so we can connect an Ethernet cable. Then for analog input and output, we can do analog video and audio through the 3.5 mm jack. These are not commonly used today, but if you look at older devices, you will see that these exist. And you can either use a composite cable to do audio and video, or you could use just an audio cable to get audio out of this 3.5 mm analog jack. Then there is the SDMI interface to use the HDMI devices today. For power, there is micro SD power supply. And for external storage, you can provide a micro SD card which you can use for external storage. The Raspberry Pi that we are using, the one that is shown out here, is the Raspberry Pi 2, which already has 1 GB of memory built in, 1 GB of RAM built in. It uses an ARM processor and it has GPIO pins. GPIO are general purpose input-output pins that you can connect all your sensors, LCDs, and all other sorts of devices that you would like to connect to this device. If you look at directly, input is from the USB, output is also can be used from the USB, and then you can also provide other general purpose input outputs through the GPIO pins. So this is the general layout of a Raspberry Pi. So if we look at the device itself, you will see that it has 4 USB ports, 1 Ethernet port, the one 3.5 mm jack, the SDMI interface, the micro SD power supply, and if you turn it to the back, you will see that you can include a micro SD card, as we have done out here. This is also where the operating system for this device resides. We are using Raspbian operating system for this. Then this is the GPIO pins. If you look at the older Raspberry Pi, the Raspberry Pi version 1, you will see that there are only 22 pins. But from Raspberry Pi 2 onwards, there are 40 pins that you can use for similar purposes. Besides this, there are also 2 other tape-like input interfaces, and one is used for the display while another is used for camera. So if you do decide to use a webcam or some sort of a camera that you would want to connect to the Raspberry Pi, then you can use this interface over here. This is the processing unit that this Raspberry Pi has. So this basically, the Raspberry Pi is a single board computer that you can use for multiple different purposes as and when you see appropriate.